Once again, it's War Mac 357. This is the Evening Experience Radio Show from 7 to 9 on Thursday. It goes down right here in the boudoir at this moment because of COVID. But we back. We here. We live. We lit. And the one and only incredible, incomparable king of PR is in the building. This is Mr. Angelo Ellerbee.
Hey man, listen, I owe you and your audience nothing but love. I thank you for coming up with this very special presentation for Sunday. I'm with you for however you want. Thank you.
I appreciate that, sir. And I'm just gonna tout on him for at this moment. When I say that, I mean I'm going to say a lot about who this man is. I'm going to give you the honors that are due you for the time in which you've been in the business. I believe when I was born, you were already in the business, and so that should tell you how long you have been an incredible PR manager, A&R. I could go on with the executive producer credits and so forth and so on. You were the first to do so many things in this world as far as making our people so illustrious in the limelight of Hollywood and different other places in the world. And I just want to tell people how incredible you really are. Some of the list of people that he's worked with over the years, management wise, PR wise, and otherwise, Michael Jackson, Whitney Houston, Alicia Keys, DMX, and I can go on and on. And currently, we have the incredible Dionne Warwick, and Cool from Cool and the Gang is one of his clients as well. And I can go on and on with the amount of people that he's worked with. Starting out, this young man had so many ideas and things that he wanted to put forth in the world, and he stepped out on faith. He worked hard. He gave us a pinnacle that we can actually stand upon. He built the foundation for a lot of people in the industry, showing them the ways in which to use their platforms and work in so many parts of this world. It's not even funny. Now, you started out as a dancer.
I started out really as a junior actor, if you will, and then got into fashion modeling and then got into fashion design. And from fashion design, I got into fashion styling. And then everything else just went according to my plan as, I never ever wanted to do publicity. This
Wow.
whole publicity thing was a fluke. I worked with a gentleman, the two-time Grammy Award winner, James Mtume, who and you may know Mtume's music from Killing Me Softly,
Yes.
Back Together Again, and then of course Juicy Fruit. As a designer, I was very well known in my community, in the Newark, New Jersey community. And people used to come to my fashion shows 2,000, 3,000 deep every year. I did them for 17 years.
Wow.
And so Camille Mtume, which is Mtume's wife, came to my shows yearly. And after the show was over, she came to me and she asked me if I would style the You, Me, and He album cover, which was her husband's next hit. I didn't know what an M2May was. I didn't know nothing about no juicy fruit. I didn't know nothing. So of course I'm trying to be cordial, and I said, "Oh, sure, I'll do it." After a show, there's everybody's pulling at you, so you're gonna say what you're gonna say to get them out your face and keep it moving.
Right.
And then she called me the next day, and she discussed dollars and cents and what she wanted me to. We became friends. To cut the story short, we became very good friends, and I began to introduce her into the fashion industry as it was New Jersey and New York City. And he would see all the things that I was doing. And he said to me one day, he says, "Why don't you come and manage me?" And I said, "Manage you, man? Well, I don't know about no music. You talk about managing you." Well, anyway, I owe so much to him because he did give me a chance. He made sure that I was equipped with the who, what's, the wins, the wheres, and the whys of existence in white music, in the white music industry, not necessarily the black music industry. If you know anything about Intume, you'll know that he'll take you inside. He won't just put you in front, he'll take you inside. And he would begin to teach you how to orchestrate and how to be a part of something that doesn't necessarily want you to be a part of it. And
Wow.
so every day he would send me over to Sony, he would sign to Sony, and I would learn and I would learn. And these people used to call him to me and say, "You sure this is your manager?" Because, I was as dumb as a doornail. I didn't know anything. Then finally, I got it, and I began to orchestrate what was in Tume, the production company. The production company was called Ifland. And I ran everything off of Ifland, all the artists in Tume, the roads. And then we got an offer for his first major motion picture, and it was called The Native Son. And it was the first movie that Oprah Winfrey had starred in.
Wow.
It was a Diane Silver production, a Rich Wright play, and my first time uh, ever thinking that I was going to do some publicity. So he said, "So you got to do the publicity, Angela." And I said, "What the hell are you talking about?" So then I found out what the publicity angle was, and I went out and bought 200 newspapers. I was always very excited about challenging myself when people would just give me an opportunity. I was there to learn. I was there to sucker everything in, keep that comprehension. If he said do something, I did it. If I didn't even know, I figured it out. And so I did that first movie with him. Then I opened up Double Exposure, and that's how I got into publicity. So my mother was a very firm and a very stern woman, and she believed that if you sat at her table to eat each and every single day, that you had to be a contributor. You had to contribute something. You was not just going to sit there and eat my food and stay underneath my roof and you were not contributing. My mom gave me survival skills.
Amen.
I was not born with a silver spoon. She said, if you want this, then you need to go and do this and you need to work for it. She didn't believe I would say, Mama, I wanted a pair of sneakers. She said, well, then you need to go work and get your money. If you get half of the money, I'll put the other half to it. So I used to go to the supermarkets and bag up the stuff and then carry it to the car, and I would get the 50 cent or I get the dollar to $2 or if I walked it home. And that's how, so it was a conditioning. My strength and my energy and my desire to win began when I was 7 and 8 years old because I had a mother that just didn't tolerate nobody sitting around her house and not being a doer. And I think she always imagined that she would not be around for a long time. So she wanted to give you what she had, what her mother and her grandmother gave her. She instilled it in her children. And particularly because I was the youngest out of the six children, um, I took it very seriously. Yes, I was a mama's boy. Yes, I wanted my mother to be happy. Yes, I did not want my mother waiting tables. I didn't want my mother serving people. I wanted her to be served. So my mission in life has always kept my eyes on the prize for the greatness that I know that my mother desired, and that she should be able to get all of the richness of life that she deserved to get. So my mission in life was to satisfy and to give my mother what I thought she needed to have as a survivor living through 1929 to 2005. She was a survivor for me, not a woman full of education, but I thought she had a doctor's degree just in common sense to lead me and to guide me. And so that has always been my inspiration to life. And I try to tell people to this day, man, it's just so very important. If you think it, then you should do it. And you shouldn't worry about if the bank is going to give you money. Your money is in here. Your money is in the actions of your body. I tell people, and people say, oh, you're so conceited. I tell people every day, I'm romantically in love with Angelo Ellerbee. Before I can love you, I have to learn to love me. And I'm going to tell you how you need to treat me.
Amen.
You ain't gonna treat me like you want to treat me. I'm gonna tell you how to treat me, just like I'm gonna tell you how to love me.
Right.
It's called respect.
Yes.
I remember I remember here in my complex that somebody called me to tell me I had a guest, and they said Angelo, and I said, "Excuse me,"
You mean Mr. Ellerbee?
and I said, "No, no, no, no. Don't you ever think I worked too hard for you to call me Angelo. You will call me Mr. Ellerbee."
Hello.
So you have to tell people. You can't allow people. You have to tell people. You have to instruct people. You have to educate people how to love you and how to take care of you.
It's not only that for me with listening to the illustriousness that built who you are. You were so instrumental in not just doing a job, but doing multiple jobs in the job that you had. You, at the time in which you were part of the Alvinelli Dance Company, you also designed the costumes for the actual events and different other shows that they were putting on. That in and of itself is unheard of because
You know what it
most
is?
people just dance, just, okay, I'm just doing
Um,
one thing, I'm dancing. But you dance and design. That's
it's,
incredible.
I think at the end of the day, for me, it was always about ownership. And I think that's where we're at today is that this was something that was Black owned
Mm,
and something that I thought that everybody needed to make a contribution to. Like my mother believed that everybody should be a contributor.
yes.
So I don't want to just take the opportunity to dance. And I was in the second company, I was not in the first company. Um, but I wanted to see this whole thing blossom. I knew that there was restrictions on budgets. So if I could do that to aid the company in growing and getting it larger, then let's do that. And I think that's what the chemistry of what today is. I think that's the push of what is happening in our community and our culture today, that all these beautiful brothers and sisters of all pigmentations is coming together saying enough is enough. And they're starting to understand the importance of togetherness and working towards a common goal as a collective.
Yes.
So it's a good feeling, man. It's not just because this is I that's my being. I multitask in whatever I go to do. I can't sit up and do one project. I'm doing 8, 9 projects.
Right.
Uh, because I don't think that anything lasts forever. And so if you don't run and if you don't hoard this project and take care of that project and take it, I don't know what I would do if I didn't do 8 or 9 projects at one time. And I try to give each and every single one of these projects 100% of me. And that's important.
You gave me an antidote just now. You didn't know me back then when I was a kid, but I actually met the drummer from Entume when I was a kid. He knew my uncle. Yes, he knew my uncle. My uncle was, the stylish brother from back in the day, always had the tan on and everything was smooth. And he got to hobnob with some of those guys. And the drummer from Entume used to come to my house. I used to live on Tecumseh Avenue. They used to call it the Heights in Mount Vernon.
Right.
And,
Okay.
he used to come and hang out, whatever the case is. And my uncle, every time he came in, would play Juicy.
Oh my God.
After a while, he was like, okay.
I'm juicing out, man. Let me try to tell you.
Son, got it.
Listen, we would go on the road. I went on the road. Man, I was backstage as the stylist and the wardrobe person. And so when we hit the road, we were doing like 250 dates out of the. I said to myself, if I hear this damn song one more, I used to go and go, yeah, you feel it, man. I mean, every night. It was every night. And sometimes it was 2 or 3 shows. Thank God the money was fantastic, but it was just the irony of continuing. And then it's still around me. But then Biggie did it over, then this one did it over, then that one did, and it's really great because it brings him to where he needs to be in terms of that royalty. But it was a phenomenal song. But I said, whew, whew,
Well, they took a you, me, and here a couple of places too. I've seen some other people take the beat from it and use it in there. Yeah. So
See, let me try to tell you, Mtume is an incredible, incredible musician.
that's
And nobody knows about his background as he started in jazz, and he started with Miles Davis. And then nobody knows that the Heath brothers, Jimmy Heath was Mtume's father.
wow.
Then he had his uncle. So he had a big, huge jazz background. And then he started to maneuver things to be, that funk vibe, which gave you Juicy Fruit and You, Me, and He and Sunshine, and it goes on and on and on. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
I saw his Unsung when it came out on TV, and I was impressed with all of the things that he accomplished under his name, and still to this day, he's doing so many backgrounds on so many huge hits that are out in the industry. It's incredible.
A wonderful energy, man. A wonderful, wonderful energy. A great, 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 great energy still to this day. We talk at least maybe twice a week. We still talk like that. Yeah.
Well, once we get off air, I'm gonna put a list together because I'm gonna need a few of those illustrious people because of the fact that you know, anybody that knows me knows that I love an incredible story. Um, Music to me makes the world go round. People like yourself make the world go round. And when speaking to y'all, I get a sense of purpose because I know somebody came before me. I'm not the first person to sit down and talk to someone on air. But the process for me is to put their greatness out into the world. And that's what the show is about. It's called The Evening Experience. It's in the evening, and you experience us experiencing you. And we celebrate all people who come here and talk about their actual accolades and different things that they've done in the world, or if they're coming up, the sprouts that are coming from what they're putting out in the world. And that's why I wanted to have you here today, because of your illustrious career. The people that you're talking about, to me, have just been on TV, and I've seen them in specials, and I've seen them sing special songs like Miss Dionne Warwick, and and I've watched her for over the years, and I'm like, wow, God bless. Kool and the Gang, who doesn't know all of the Kool and Gang songs? Like when I grew up as a kid, my aunts and them was to put on the records, and we used to be in the yard jamming and dancing. Everybody, all right, I'm gonna teach you the step now, and how to.
Play it again, right? So you have to keep, yeah. So all the people that you mentioned, man, I'm very, very fortunate. Um, I'm in love with Dionne Warwick and have represented excuse me, I have represented Miss Warwick for the past 36 years. Um, and it's not, we have a genuine love for one another.
God bless.
She has taught me so much. She has a staying power that's unbelievable. This year she turns 80 and she's still going. She's going strong. She's a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful energy. And this week, I think it's October the 11th, we're celebrating Cole's birthday. He's turning 70 and still out there doing all the things that he's doing. So, yeah, I'm very, very fortunate, man. I'm very fortunate.
And congratulations on his beverage that came out, the Cool Champagne, which is incredible. And that is, I love the bottle. I love the design. It looks very elegant, very, very,
Wonderful.
very elegant.
Thank you.
And I heard it tastes well. One
It's
day
good. I got to make sure I make sure I send you a bottle.
I
Make
appreciate
sure
it.
I send you a bottle. And maybe you can give a bottle away on air to one of your listeners.
Listen, I would love to. I would make it, a prize, and maybe do something around what
A holiday. Maybe we'll do something around the holiday.
in the industry. Maybe we
Yeah,
can talk about, if you remember this song from this time, give us and then let them chime in.
absolutely. Not a problem. I'll give you a couple of bottles and you do what you feel like you got to do.
Thank you. Um, when you decided to make your step into the PR realm and you started to learn what publicity was about, What was it? Because you were pioneering a lot. And when I say that, I'm talking about the fact that you created a program for your actual clients to go through in order for them to be learning about what they were doing, how to talk to press, how to, when they're sitting, how to sit, how to, express themselves physically first, and then to vocally do the same as they were talking to.
Man, I have so much to give back to my mother. My mother taught me these things, these mere fundamentals as a child. How to pull a chair out. A lady is how to stand up when a lady enters the room. Yes, sir. No, sir. Yes, ma'am. All these things that I think that people should, mothers and fathers and parents and grandparents should be teaching their children. Someone said to me, Angelo, do you think that that's played now? Is that too old? I said, it's never too old to have manners. It's never too old to have the control of the English language. It's never too old for you to know your business ethics. It's never too old for you to be able to read and comprehend your contracts. So what I did was I did no more than emulate Barry Gordy. I wanted to find out what was the magic behind Barry Gordy. And you got to think 60s. You got to think that he had nothing but black talent, and black talent was restricted. So what did he have to do? He had to take them in, train them, groom them. So he had someone that taught them diction and speech and mannerisms, how to dress, choreography. And so I know as a publicist, you have the there's a million publicists. What's going to make me stand out is my 24-week artist development program. And so we created 24 weeks. There were elective classes where we taught finance, taxation, publishing, royalties, all those things that they needed to know to survive. I have a problem with A&R people and executives taking an artist and teaching them the fundamentals of what they have, their craft, singing. Then they just throw them on the stage. And then when they go do things wrong, and then when they cuss somebody out, and then when they come on the stage with a Hennessy bottle, then everybody wants to become accusatory. I think that you have to begin to take your artist and treat your artist like it's your child. You have to spend that much time, not just in the marketing of the artist, but in every aspect. You see, I just have so many problems with the music industry in terms of everyone wanting to cheat the artists. Everybody wants to take something. And one of my presidents, when I was working at one of these record companies, I won't tell you the name because then you would know who it is, said to me, you should have billions and billions of dollars. I was like, what are you talking about? They said, oh, the artists you have worked with. I said, but I don't do business like you do business. I do right business.
Hello.
I don't need your points. I don't want your points. And if you walk through my office, you walk through my home, you don't see no records up on the wall because I don't believe in all of that. Uh, I just want my salary. I believe in goods for services and services for goods, no service. That's where it stops at. I am not, listen, if I'm going to be your manager, I want that percentage and that's all I want. If I'm going to get points on records, I'm going to discuss what those points in the records is and contractually it'll be incorporated. But I'm not going to beat you. And I think that if we just take the time out to educate and become mentors to these young artists, and I know these kids today don't believe that nobody can teach them anything, but you got to stop with the foolishness. And you got to learn to listen, 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 and listen. And there is no OGs that you should be able to go to every OG because they call me an OG. I don't give a shit what you call me. I don't care. But there's a fountain of knowledge. Be able to come and get some. Take that new direction and take that old and combine it together. You got an impactful entry. So you got to really understand. It's not just about it's not just about that music, but it's about the business of music. And I want our young people to understand. about the business of music. Man, if you look at some of these artists that have made all of these records, they're sitting on the corner. They have no money.
Right.
But people who don't look like us are sitting up in the white mansions
That's right.
and they're living large, and their children are going to Harvard and going to Yale, and our children can't even get through high school because. So all I'm trying to simply say is that we do need more mentoring now. We need it more now than we ever have. And
Mhm.
if you're going to mentor someone, really mentor them. Don't do it fragmentally. Be a complete mentor.
Amen. With that being the case, one of the people you mentored, I met him once. Once again, I have a lot of stories in Mount Vernon because that's where I grew up. You know, Felicia Rashad, Denzel Washington,
Sure.
you know, Debbie Allen, my boy Dwight Myers. A lot of people don't know him as Dwight Myers, but it's Heavy D. Uh,
Yes.
um, Albert Brown, aka Albie Sure.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. Oh
um,
my God. I didn't even know that one.
oh yeah. Uh, I actually driving through Mount Vernon, he had that multicolored old 67, I think it was the Chevy drop top. It was DMX. Pulled up to the corner store and he got out. And I was like, yo, X, what's up? He was like, yo, what's up? And kept walking in the store. And, you know,
Sounds about right.
how was it um, working with X? You also got an executive producer credit on the movie that he started, which that's incredible in and of itself. Um, how was it working with him in who he was as an artist, as a person? How was that illustrious time? Because to talk about just him, I can talk about Michael Jackson. I can talk about, um, you know, uh, uh, when Michael Jackson one time tried to call you and make like he was somebody else and tried to proceed into a conversation, making a joke. Your stories alone, I know you're in the process of making a movie about your life, and it needs to be seen because of the fact that you were the first African American to put us in an upper echelon in the world. And I believe that because of the fact that you can't be the king of something unless you actually started um, and worked your way up to the top. You rose to royalty because of the fact of all of the things that you did in the industry. And I'm just touching on a smidget. If we sat here and listened to you speak on all of the things that you've done, I would be here forever.
I could only write that kind of book or tell those stories when my left foot is in the casket and I'm about on my way down. So I understand the importance of confidentiality. I understand the importance of keeping your mouth closed and telling what you know you can tell. So, but just to go back on my experience with Earl, with X, I'm sorry, um, it was a learning experience. It was a learning experience for him, and it was a learning experience for me. Um, it was some very trying times. I'm not going to sit here and tell you no lie. He had to learn me, and I had to learn him, and it wasn't easy. It wasn't easy at all. I had to really sit back and wonder if I wanted to do it because I knew what I was going to be confronted with, and it was the best times that I've had with him is times where we were alone and we would pray.
Amen.
Anytime I wanted Earl to do anything, we would always pray. If he would take you in prayer, and he has a heart, man, I want everyone to understand this man has a heart of gold.
Yes. Yes.
And he would give money to churches. Like he would get on the phone with me, yo, dog. Did you get them people my tithes? Did you take care of the tithes, Angelo? He wanted to make sure he fed people. I did this one thing every Thanksgiving up in Mount Vernon. It was at the Mary Ellen Center.
Uh huh.
It
Yes.
was where his grandmother and the whole. So I did this thing every Thanksgiving, at least for 6 to 7 years, where he would feed the whole community. Anyone that wanted to have food, if anyone, he would have gifts, he would have prizes. Oh man, it was so this man had a heart of gold.
Amen.
But people who worked with him and worked against him took such advantage of who he was as an individual. I can't really go into what I want to go into, but I can only say to you that it was an experience that I will always hold close to my heart. He taught me so much. Again, he taught me. I taught him. We had a bond and an understanding. It was a remarkable experience. So I was with him for 5 years, 2 years as his publicist, and the other balance of his as his manager. But I guess I would have to say a wonderful experience, a learning and painful experience.
God bless.
Yeah,
Um, Alicia Keys.
love, 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 love.
How did that come about?
Alicia was at Columbia. She was at signed to Columbia, and this is when she was extremely young,
Mm,
and she had not found a direction as to where she was going to come from, as a recording artist. And every major label would send their stars to be to double exposures artist development program. And we would sit back and just have conversation after conversation. And one day she came into my office and she had on these boots and this leather jacket. And I was just like, so what do you want to do with your life?
mm.
She's like, I want to sing. I said, what else do you want to sing? I mean, what else do you want to do? And she said, I'm multitasking. I'm a musician. I'm this, is that. Then I found out, I also managed Huggy Bear, Antonio Fargas. So yeah, and Antonio and I are still very good friends. Well, Alicia Keys' mother Alicia's mother is a phenomenal actress. And
Wow.
I told Antonio about Alicia. He says, "Do you know I know her mother really?" So it was a history, and then it became a closeness. So all of my things are very special. And I don't know, it's nowhere written about me and Carl Anthony Payne, but I managed and I did Cockroach, Martin,
He was
uh,
on my show.
yeah, the show. So I'm trying to
He
think.
was on my show.
Oh, he was on your show.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
I got invited out to an event. Coco Brown, shout out to her, invited me to an event, and I interviewed him. Him and John Hinton, who used to play Overton Wakefield Jones on Living Single.
Okay,
Yeah, he was on as well.
that's wonderful. But so Carl and I go back. So it's not just on the music side. I got into theater. I got into actors, and it's man, I think it's nothing special that I do, but listen and try to advise and try to be a friend. Because some of the friends that you may have, if you take that word friend and you split it in the middle, what are you gonna get? You get an end of a friend sometimes.
That's right.
So I try to stay collective and try to make it. I try to become a friend, an understanding person, because the challenges of working one day and not working the next day, not knowing how you're going to go. So you need people who are going to be motivators and people because you want good energy around you. And so I try to do that. I think that's I think that's 80% of my job because I go through I see what people go through trying to maintain in this business.
I remember a story that I watched you tell about the first time you were working with Mary J. Blige. Um,
A lot of stories there.
right, right. You being who you are have uh, polished a lot of people and made them exceptional in society with their walks. Um, just knowing some of the things you've done in the industry, and like I said, I know there's a tremendous amount of more things that I could say, but I can see the fruits of your labor through the way in which I see them in media, the way in which I see them in the world, and the things that they're doing. I can tell your tutelage is there. because of the fact that you given so much to their grooming, their upbringing in the industry, giving them purpose, giving them focus, which is something that needs to be given, especially in an industry that will chew you up and spit you out at any second.
Man, it is when I go to work for an artist, I'm not just going to work for that artist. I want to know your mother, your father,
Mm.
your friends, because I don't read bios and I don't listen to the music. I know people say, how the hell you don't listen to music? Because I ain't selling no damn music. I'm selling talent.
Right.
So when I have relationships and conversations, I get to know. And, and I'd rather talk to your mother and talk to your father. I'd rather talk to your friends and then I'd rather talk to you. I want to be able to get on the phone and pitch you, but not reading the bio, by simply saying what they will do, what they will not do, what they like, what they don't like. So it, that's the kind of relationship, or those are the kinds of rapport that I gotta have in order for me to really do my job. And so when you bring the family into this,
Mm.
if I have a concern, I can call up somebody and say, or they like this, and how do I I make it inclusive so that everyone becomes the benefactors. I think that I was working with this young girl who had a brother and a father who was the manager, and they both didn't know what they were doing, but they wanted to manage. And I would simply say, these are the steps that you need to take. And then there was always confusion. And then I would say, every time that there's confusion, there has to be conversation. If there's no conversation, then there's not any kind of really, there's no resolve. So I like trying to put all the pieces to the puzzles together with confusion, with misunderstanding, with people who don't know, because I had to begin somewhere. I began doing things I didn't know I had to do. So you can get on my shoulders and you can stand on my shoulders. You can learn and what I don't know, I can pick up the phone and I can say to somebody, you need to, would you spend 5 or 10 or 15 or a half an hour on the phone so that this young person would understand what this is about and what that, that's what we got to begin. We got to begin to help one another. And it's not always about the money.
Right.
It's not always about the money. It's sometimes you just got to do it from here. I'm around. I'm still around so much. It's not because I'm so talented. It's because I have the faith and the belief in the man upstairs that allows me to do what I do. I have lasted long only because he allows me. The man upstairs allows me to do what I do and to last. Oh, some people say, "Oh, you're still doing what you're doing." I'm still getting a check. Yeah. Oh, you've been doing this so long. Yes. Oh, is he over? Can he still do what he used to do? I'm still here. Yeah, I can. Yeah, I can. I can still do what I used to do. I was so funny. Well, you still got those contacts? Well, I don't want to think that I would have the same contacts after 50 years. I have. I can still do my job. How about that? Yeah, I know.
Listen, to have a client that you just said, Miss Dion, worked for over 30 some odd years, yeah, I
Yeah.
think you're really good at what you do. You don't have somebody last 30 some odd years with you if you're a bit poor at what you do. I'm just gonna go with that. Um, that in and of itself, what I like about you and what you've done in the world is because of the fact that you started with a foundation, and that foundation in of itself was um, with your mom and with the things in which she facilitated to teach you. And that in and of itself is an incredible thing that showed us what you were about as a person and what you did to help us know um, what this process was about. You built it on respect. You built it on um, teaching. You built it on pride. You built it on all of the things in which a person who would be self-sufficient should know as they're stepping out. Um, and that in of itself, I align with most because of the fact that, my mother was the same way. My mother taught me how to cook, clean, sew. She said, so if a woman ever leave you, you're not sitting there with rips and holes in your clothes, and you know how to feed yourself, and you know how to take care. You don't need a woman to do any of those things for
My
you.
mother used
Do
to,
it for yourself.
my mother loved doing things by example. So at 15 years old, she said, I think it's time for you to pay rent. So I figured it would be $100. She said, $500 a month. I said, now, where do we get $500? She said, think about it. You'll find it. Get a job. Go to school. Get a job.
Hey,
I went to school. I got a job. I paid rent. And then as time went on, as life is allowed time to go on, and she always wanted on the first day of the month, not the second day, the first day. But it taught me how I gotta survive in white America, how you keep good credit, how you're responsible for what you say you're going to do. All those things work. So all of the things where kids say, "Oh, no, 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 no," those those kind of things still set in place. That's that judgment of what time you're gonna pay your rent. So if you don't pay your rent on the first, and I think you get to the fifth or the 15th or whatever it is, you got to pay you got to
yeah,
pay like an overage, right?
right.
I learned all those things. All I owe my mother my life. My mother and God is all of what I have and all of what I need. Everything that was taught by the graces of my mother. I made millions of dollars off of my mother's teaching. And you got to remember that she was nobody's teacher, but she taught me. And I took what she taught me and turned it around into an artist development program.
Mm.
So you got to always got to want to just listen. And you can never ever be afraid about doing. You can't be afraid. And then you have to be who you are. Don't try to be nobody else. Don't be afraid of nobody. Be who you are. Everybody wants to be Beyonce, a singer. No, we got a Beyonce. Where's your originality? Be who you are, and don't worry about who likes you and who don't like you and how many. No, you got to stay focused. You got to challenge the opposition. You got to rebuke the devil.
Amen.
You got to give yourself faith and confidence. And you can't worry about money. It happens. It happens. I started my business. I started in the basement of my mother's basement in Newark, New Jersey. We used to go back and forth with the fashion shows. I didn't have no money. Listen, I went in the garage and took out our old dining room table. And back in the day, they had what was called a teen line.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't, didn't even have call waiting. It was just a teen line. If they called, you was just busy. The phone was just busy.
That's
That was how I began. And it was like, how do I get to the next level of it? I knocked on doors. I mean, I did what I've been hustling for all of my life, and I can't stop hustling. And I tried, and people was like, Angelo, you can help me. You can help me. You can help me. You can push the button. I said, no, 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 no. I'm gonna show you where the button's at. Push your own damn button. When you let people push buttons, that's what you're gonna wait for to do for the rest of your life, waiting for somebody to push your own button. Push your own damn button. Do your own damn work and learn from it. That's the winning qualities to it all. Ups and downs, falling. Now, I just believe if you fall down, you need to understand why did you fall down?
right.
Did you slip on something? What now? And then ask yourself how you gonna get back up
Right.
and how you're gonna stay up.
Right.
You have to evaluate all those things that are around you. I don't want nobody. You know what? When I feel something negative, I remove it.
That's right.
I remove it. If I just have to be alone, me and my father upstairs, I'm good. I want good energy, good people that's going to support me and understand me. I ain't the easiest person in the world to get along with. I'm very demanding. I'm going to be straight up. And anyone that knows me is going to tell you, oh, he ain't no nonsense. And I'm not,
You shouldn't be.
because I'm not going back to no basement. You understand what I'm saying? And I'm not going to allow anyone to block my blessings. If you stand in the way of my, no, 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 no. Love you dearly, but I'm romantically in love with me.
Hello.
So I will teach you. And sometimes you won't understand my teachings. But if you really want to learn it, it's not about winning every race. It's about staying in the race. If you stay in the race, eventually you will win.
Henceforth, when you were younger, and you wanted to become a model, and you wanted to go to Paris, took the opportunity and did it on your own. No help from your mom, no return ticket. You just said, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. And you cooked fried chicken, which, like you said, soul food in a place where people didn't know about soul food, and
Uh,
and created your path out there in Paris, with the opportunity to have your career in modeling.
I had so many friends that was over there modeling, but no one ever believed that I could model. I was very thin. So all of my friends from Jersey and New York that was over there, I didn't get any help from them. No one tried to tell me what kind of pictures I needed to do. I had a friend of mine who was in high school with me, took some pictures. They weren't the best of pictures, but I wondered why I wasn't working because the pictures were not the greatest pictures. So I walked around. I did not speak at all,
Okay.
just English.
Y
But
pour les
I had a
Français,
little book.
pour les Français, on paie pour
Yeah,
les Français.
I just had this little book. Yeah, yeah, that's what I did. And then I found, yeah, I'm telling you, every day.
They didn't
Time
have Google Translate then.
God, every day, time, what did it say? Oh, and I go, okay. So one day I was by the Champs Elysees and they were looking for a cook. I ain't nobody's cook, but I do know how to cut up some collard greens and how to season some chicken and put some flour on it and stick it down in the thing. That much I do know. And so I went in and I said, from America, and I can cook and the whole other bit there, da, 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 and they hired me. So this one photographer came into the restaurant and says, "What are you doing here cooking? You should be on the." And he said, "Let me see your book." So I showed him my book. He said, "Oh, that's no wonder." He said, "That doesn't look anything like." He said, "You'd be shot some pictures of me," and I worked. Uh, and I was there for like a year and a half, almost 2 years. Because my mother said she was not. If you go, I'm not sending you there. You raise your own money. Don't come call it here collect. She said, don't call here collect. And if you get over there and you ain't got no way back, I guess you will become a citizen over there. Because don't ask me, because I ain't got it. The day I came back, it was my mother and my two youngest sisters were at the airport. I got back and I got on the ground. Back then, the airplanes land. When it lands, the stairs will come down and you will feel it. I kissed that ground so bad. I just said, oh, thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Jesus. I mean, okay, so I came back with money, but it was nothing like
What you
having
thought?
a, having a conversation with somebody that understood you. There was one girl named Deborah from Baltimore who was just my confidant. She took care of me, but she couldn't be around me 24 hours a day. And I wasn't coming back without enough money to contribute to my mother's house.
Mhm.
I came back and my mother always talked about this Donna Reed house, with she always wanted the stairs. And that's what me and my two older sisters were able to give her. So, yeah. I just believe in claiming victory, man. And I don't believe in waiting on anyone. And I don't need you to believe in me.
I
You know,
agree.
it's the same thing when it comes down to white America. Black folks always got to prove themselves. You know, and it knocks me out the box when you come down to publicity. Those black artists always want to go to those white PR people.
Right.
Yeah, I'm saying it. I'm saying exactly what I'm saying. Instead of giving a screw up is a screw up, and anyone can screw up.
That's
So would you rather for a brother? No, they rather go over there because that person handles that person. You got to give people a try. You got to give them a chance.
amen.
You got to let the interns come and really be intern. Because if you work for me and you say you're an intern, if you think you're going to sit up and look at me all day long, oh no, you got a job. This is your job and you're responsible for that. And this is what I'm looking for you to give me back a report. I don't believe in you sitting up here looking at me, listening to some music and doing it. No, no, you are an employee.
That's right.
You just ain't getting paid. And today, these kids, they want stipends. Back in the day, I worked in Tume for 5 years and no money, buddy. I got money when there was some money, but every day I went to work. It wasn't about the money; it was about learning.
That's right.
You know, I don't have a problem giving someone transportation money or lunch money, but if you ain't bringing nothing to the table, you think you want to eat? You ain't bring nothing to the table? Oh no, it don't work like that. You got to bring something to the table. Have a knowledge about a computer, have a knowledge about marketing, have a knowledge about something, but you just gonna sit there and just soak me up and you ain't giving nothing. No, it's like reciprocal. Let's give it back. You give me some, I give you some. Isn't that the way the world runs?
Called reciprocity.
There you go.
Um, I want to tell you, I've thoroughly enjoyed this conversation. You are one of the most uh in like beautiful people I've met, in
Thank
the
you.
sense that I love your incredible spirit. I love the way you were taught. I totally understand. Um, a lot of people don't understand that old adage, to thine own self be true. If you're not true with yourself, you don't respect yourself, you don't love yourself, you can't have somebody else that's on the outside that sees that you're broken or finds out that you're broken, expect them to sure you up or do anything else. If you're not coming whole as you are supposed to another person, and then, as you said, telling them exactly the way in which you want to be loved and respected and anything else, it can't happen. And you gave so much to so many who came through your school, who came through your teachings, who came from your upbringing that you taught them without them knowing that it was your upbringing that got you to where you are. I just want to say I respect you and I appreciate you being here today on the Evening Experience Show. Once again, it's your boy Mac 357. This is the Evening Experience Radio Show from 7 to 9 every Thursday. It goes down right here. And I want to thank Mr. Angelo Ellerbee for being here today. Tell everybody where they can find you on social media.
Well, you can go to my, I like people to go to my website so they get a chance to see the history. And so that's dxxnyc.com. And I'm that straight across the social media platforms as well. And let me say something to you, my brother.
Appreciate it.
God is but a good God.
Amen.
He is but a delivery. He's
Amen.
an on time God. God sees it, feels it, and understands it all. And the evening experience will become a national experience. I just want you to keep your eyes on the prize, let nobody block your blessings, and loving God.
Amen. I appreciate that. And I appreciate you being here today. And I want to say thank you.
You're more than welcome.
All right.
All right, my brother.
Take care.
Take care now. Ooh, it's hot.